We are back. It's the Joe Holka Show presented by Prize Picks. Week 10, it's the big show. I think the first time in history that we've started a little bit early. I know we have a bunch of people in the chat already, so wanted to make sure that we got enough time together today because I actually have just a fun morning ahead. A couple of my best buddies from college, 3 of my groomsmen are coming to the Vikings and Ravens game with me, and we're going to get started a little bit earlier than normal. So I'm excited for that. I actually made a video with all of their picks for this game. So maybe I'll show you guys that in a second. But wanted to get started a little bit earlier to reward some of the people that are here early and promoting everything in the chat. Appreciate you guys. How's everyone feeling about this week 10 slate right now? I actually really like it. And I don't always say that. I think there's a lot of really good opportunities in tournaments. I think there's very distinct leverage plays that make a lot of sense. And I think that there's more game stacking opportunity in this week in particular than we've had in a couple weeks now. So I hope everyone is good. I'm excited to go position by position. I think I fixed the polls. We will see. But hope everyone is doing great. Bet on the Vikings today with Joe and his buddies in the house. Let's go, Dustin. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Casey Bone in the chat. What's up, Casey Bone? Wayne Casey. How we doing? Joe Milk's in here. Jeremy McDowell. How we doing, guys? How we doing? Do we like the Baltimore-Minnesota stack or the Giants-Chicago stack more? You know my answer to that. You know my answer. Luke's in here. What's up, Luke? How we doing, my man? Who else we got? Catcher AD. What's up, bro? How's it going? Rob Bailey's in here. Renegade Knoll. Salt River Hillbillies. Dustin Gill. What's up, Dustin? How's it going, brother? Hat on backward. What's up, guys? How we feeling? How was everyone's week 9? Hope it was great. There's a lot to get to today, but yeah, I guess I might as well just show you guys what I'm talking about. So this is the time of the year, week 10. It gets a little bit repetitive as we're working through some content stuff, right? So I want to do something that was actually fun and different this week. So like I said, some of my best buddies are coming to this game. So hang on, let's see if I can bring this up. We have the technology, right? Let's see. Yeah, let's do this. See if you guys can hear this.
Is it possible to turn $50 into 800 if you let your buddies do all the research?
Isn't that awesome? Hang on.
Is it possible to turn $50 into 800?
So we're turning 50 into 800 with 4 picks. My buddies have made all 3 of these picks, and then I made one at the end. Let's see, before I even start this, let's see if you guys, who do you guys think has the best pick here? There's Jimmy. There's Razor. There's Nick. In the chat, Jimmy, Razor, or Nick, who has the best pick of these 3, of their 3? What do you guys think? Look at this idiot. So one of Nick's best friends won the Stanley Cup last year, which is pretty cool. Nate Schmidt. Shout out to Nate Schmidt. Gotta have pieces for the Lions for sure. Oh, we got the bots already. Let's go. Hide this user. Boom. Let's just play this, and I'll just let you guys see the whole thing, and then you'll get an idea of where we're at for this Vikings game.
Is it possible to turn $50 into 800 if you let your buddies do all the research? Meet Nick.
Meet Nick. Look at that bald head of his.
Taking Lamar Jackson on the ground. We've got some real strong analysis.
So I basically asked them all to give me one line of why they picked what they did, essentially. So Nick was basically just Lamar over rushing yards because he's an alien and no one can contain the run game, and he doesn't know shit about Flock. Well, okay, cool. That's some good analysis.
But honestly, I don't hate it. Even though Lamar didn't run much last week, the Vikings are going to force a ton of QB scrambles per usual, but they've done studies, 60% of the time, Lamar...
I guess for anyone that has good buddies from a long time, are your guys's are all of your jokes just movie quotes like mine for the most part? So I wanted to add some fun stuff.
Rushing works every time. Meet Jim. He's a Bears fan.
There's Jim. Look how short he is. I had to cut myself out of this because he's so short.
And then probably the last person I thought would take a stand on Justin Jefferson. I even asked him if he wanted to move this down to 5.5, something a little safer. All he said was, no, sir.
The analysis was he's due. So really solid stuff there. Any How I Met Your Mother fans out there? So Jimmy and I in college would probably watch the Perfect Week episode once a week, just for fun.
Respect the game too much. Anyways, you don't jinx a man going for a perfect week, even if he's throwing junk out there. Beat Razor. Easily the
Razor. higher on the passing yards for McCarthy.
Biggest homer of the group, but hasn't played fantasy football since 2013. I kept telling him that the game has changed, that the Ravens defense is getting healthier, etc. He just kept saying,
Any McGruber fans out there? My friend Razor is absolutely obsessed with McGruber.
He just kept saying, but the players are the same. I don't know. At least the Ravens have the lowest pressure rate in the NFL over the last 4 weeks, so McCarthy will have all the time in the world back there.
All right, so at the end, my pick
blitz-heavy defenses scored twice last week, so what's one more for Mark Andrews?
Is a Mark Andrews touchdown. How are we feeling? Do we have a chance to go 4 for 4 in this one? All we need is a chance at the game, right? All we need is a chance. Anyways, I had fun making that video, a little bit different than kind of the normal short form stuff that I do out there. So hopefully we're on a good path here for this Vikings Ravens game. So looking forward to that. Let's jump into our normal scheduled program. I know some of you guys probably just trickling in here. Started a little bit earlier because probably going to go through a little bit quicker than normal today as well. So let's start with a poll. Who will be this week's highest owned player? Fingers crossed that the polls are fixed. I think I fixed them, ran a bunch of tests. They were working. So Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane, Rico Dowdle, Zay Flowers, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Puka Nakua, or other. In order to place your vote, exclamation point vote, space the number. What do you guys think about the highest owned player today? Where are we at? Where are we at on highest owned player? The polls seem to be working. Last week was so weird because they would start to work and then they would just shut off randomly after like 10 votes or so. We will see. It looks like it's going pretty good. Rico Dowdle getting some love early in the chat. Yeah, in terms of news, as you guys are kind of voting here, not a lot of crazy things came up this morning. The one that was kind of funny even just a few minutes ago, not funny, just the Colts are planning to offer Daniel Jones a long-term extension. Crazy the quarterback room for the Vikings last year. Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones both having great years, and then JJ McCarthy off to a little bit of a slow start. Obviously the injuries, we'll see. I think this could be the breakout. Never know. What else we got here? The Bills offered the Dolphins a first-round pick as part of a package for Jalen Waddle. Interesting. Cooper Kupp has a chance to play in Week 10. You're saying there's a chance. Ted McMillan expected to play in Week 10 against the Saints. That's a tough one. Hamstring injuries are kind of scary, and they're not throwing the ball too much, but he's expected to play. Cedric Tillman, hamstring, also expected to play if he needs some salary relief, especially on FanDuel, might be an option. Garrett Wilson expected to play against the Browns on the other side of that game, battling through that knee injury. What else we got here? Harold Fannin expected to play. DeAndre Swift, questionable, is expected to play. That's most of it this morning, guys. That's most of it. This week feels tight on pricing. I agree. If no Tet, do we back off of Dowdle? I think the answer to that question is pretty simple. I don't know if you have to back off of him, but I don't really like the situation if there's like only one option, right? These teams still have to score touchdowns and they still have to move the ball down the field. So, I mean, I think it helps Dowdle if Tet is in there, personally. They knew better than to send Waddle to Buffalo. They did that. I'm no longer a fan. Hey, I feel you, man. I feel you. All right, Rico Dowdle, highest owned player. I agree with you guys. I think it's going to be close between some of those running backs, but I do agree. But let's start with the quarterback position. Top quarterback play today. Price considered. We have Josh Allen, JJ McCarthy, Marcus Mariota, Mac Jones, Drake May, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. I wanted to keep this one kind of wide open for you guys. What are your thoughts? Quarterback today. How are we feeling about quarterback today? How we feeling? JJ McCarthy with 3 immediate votes. Wow, okay. Sure. Immediate votes. Very interesting. We got a little bit of love for other as well. Who's the other? Dart. Interesting. Okay. JJ, so cheap it's ridiculous. Fair. The pass attempts. You guys worried about the pass attempts? Is he forced to pass a little bit more in this game? You would think so, right? You would think so? Gotta be, right? Gotta be. Allen, multiple rushing TDs today. I'm with you. Joe, I think we have to build a Vikings Ravens stack. We might have to. We might have to. Maybe I'll scale things up a little bit and play that in the big millie maker. That might be fun. 4,900 is very cheap. I agree. No Mac love. Yeah, one Mac Jones vote so far. Interesting. I am forced to start Marcus Mariota in one of my most important fantasy leagues this week. So I'm pulling for Mariota a little bit too. Baker stacks, Darnold stacks, a lot of Josh Allen. Okay. Did I not put Lamar on this poll? How did I not put Lamar on this poll? Okay. So is that why we have all the others? Yes, probably part of the reason. My bad. Early morning this morning, earlier than normal, getting everything ready for the fellas to come over. I made a dip. Like I went all out. I went all out. All right. So on the quarterback side, I think it's kind of between some of these cheaper ones for me. Like Josh Allen, like raw points, like he's probably the best play, right? It's just like what rosters can you build around him? It's a little bit tougher than I expected. So I kind of like the idea of going down a little bit. I do like this JJ McCarthy, Marcus Mariota tier quite a bit. And Mac Jones with Christian McCaffrey, I think still makes a ton of sense as well. And the price tag for all of those guys is really strong, right? So if you're looking at like splitting hairs a little bit, I do like Marcus Mariota quite a bit. Like him being in there for Jaden this week, we're gonna get like our 6 to 10 rush attempts. We're probably gonna get a rushing touchdown, and I think that like in a game where he's probably gonna have to scramble a little bit, but also dropping back and then scrambling, all of those things I think are good. 5,300 is a great price tag for him. If you want to go all the way up, it's Josh Allen, I think, for me. Really great matchup, obviously, against this Dolphins team. I think that they should just kind of run them over. And if they do, Josh Allen's just going to capture so much of the touchdown equity there. Lamar is interesting because he has done really well against the blitz over the last like handful of years, right? So I think this is actually a low key, really good spot for him. The number one target that he goes to when he's under fire is still Mark Andrews. So that's part of the reason that I took the Mark Andrews touchdown this week. So I like that. I like the Zay Flowers stuff a bit as well. I think earlier this week I was listening to, I was on Overzet's After Dark. If you guys are one of his members, definitely go check out that conversation. But I believe it was him and Jam to Win were talking about Zay Flowers and these like blow up games versus do they always have to be with Lamar? And they don't always have to be, right? So the Zay Flowers ownership is pretty crazy right now. So I'll be interested to see what you guys think of that. I don't think you have to play Zay Flowers with Lamar, is my point. Interesting, though. Very interesting. Josh Allen versus Lamar is a tough one. I think it depends on what type of games you want to be attacking today. In terms of the games that I'm seeing a lot of pace in, I think the Chicago and Giants game is interesting. A little bit of wind there. This Ram and San Francisco 49ers game, I do also think is very interesting. And Tampa Bay, these Baker stacks, fresh off a bye, I think are somewhat interesting. And this Drake May led Patriots offense, I think it's a completely different vibe in like the direction that those games can take as a whole now. The Buffalo Miami game, I do have a little bit of concerns there for pace. That's like one of the biggest knocks against it, I think. And then a couple of these other games that I think will be really slow. Even if Tet McMillan's in for Carolina, I think that New Orleans and Carolina game could be slow. So I think there's paths to Rico Dowdle failing as well, even though he's a fantastic play. Um, we'll keep working through that. We'll keep working through that. Let's actually keep this thing moving though, and go to running back here. So I think running back is kind of where this slate starts, right? There's a few options that I think are going to be very chalky. Curious what you guys think is the best running back play today. Devon Achane, Rico Dowdle, Christian McCaffrey, Travion Henderson, Kyron Williams, Derrick Henry, or other. What do we think about running back today, friends? Thoughts? Thoughts? Leaning towards Cooks over Allen. Interesting. Cook, I imagine, is who you're talking about. Yeah, the Cook stuff is interesting. He just absolutely destroys Miami. Seems like every time they play. Judkins. Okay, interesting. We got some Rico Dowdle love in the chat. Dowdle's a smash. Yeah, what is it like? He's gone over 100 yards in like 4 straight games, something like that. 4 or 5 games. They've handed him the keys officially again. This team runs the ball exceptionally well. So they're basically going to do it in any game script too, which is interesting, right? So Carolina, like this last game, 25 carries in that win against, or I guess that win against the Packers defense that has been, I guess, inconsistent at times, but is still very much elite. So not a lot of people on Dowdle last week. They did get rewarded if they were. Now he gets the Saints, so the matchup is very strong. We actually get positive game script, so I'd be shocked if he doesn't get like 22, 23 carries in this spot again. Really strong chance to get in the end zone as well. Did take him for an anytime touchdown earlier in the week. Dowdle's going to get hurt in the first quarter. That would be rough. Don't put that evil on us. Like Achan for the receptions, like Dowdle a little bit better. Okay, fair. Fair. Christian McCaffrey, basically their entire strategy right now is let's give Christian McCaffrey the ball as much as humanly possible. Travion Henderson, no love so far. No love for Derrick Henry. No love for Kyron Williams. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I actually think this is a reasonable week to make some of those big pivots. I didn't put Jahmyr Gibbs on this, but from a leverage perspective, I think maybe getting off of like one or two of these really chalky running backs makes some sense. Kyron Williams, about 15% ownership. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I think they might actually play him a lot more. At 6,600, it's such a great price tag. Derrick Henry at 10%. This is the one when you want to play Derrick Henry, right? And the fact that he hasn't had Lamar in a while, I think this price tag is just egregious. I like the Henry and Kyron stuff a lot. Like if I'm at Travion, I'm gonna try and get up to Kyron and try and get up to Henry. I think if I can. Rico Dowdle at 6,300 in that same range is like that's what it is, right? Those are like the best pivots I think off of Rico if you didn't want to go there. Christian McCaffrey though, like just the best role in the entire league, right? He's gonna basically be a elite wide receiver one in addition to the carries that he's getting, right? So not much more to say about that. It's a decent spot, not a great spot. Devon Achane, similar, right? This Buffalo team, people probably don't realize they have not defended the run well at all this year. So Achane, I think, is as likely as anyone to break a big play in this one. And then once they kind of fall behind, he's just going to rack up catches, right? So the Devon Achane at 7,400 seems to be the price tag to me. That's one of the toughest ones to get away from, in my opinion. Travion, though, I think there's still a chance that he has a blow up game at some point where he goes completely crazy. Maybe it's this week. We got some others in here. Gibbs at 8K. Yep. I like that. I have Henry in several lineups. I really like the Henry stuff too. I'm with you. If we get some pace in this game, I think that makes a lot of sense. Let's keep this thing moving because I want to have some time to build a fun lineup with you guys. And we're probably going to go a little bit shorter today than normal. Top elite wide receiver play. So these are the top 4 price wide receivers on DraftKings. We got Puka Nacua, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Justin Jefferson. If you had to pick one of these guys, who is it? If you had to pick one. If you play McCarthy, would you double stack him with Jefferson and Addison? I don't think the double stack is 100% necessary because of the passing volume has not really been there. But you also get some rushing equity with McCarthy. So if you play McCarthy and you just stack him with Jefferson, for example, and he runs one in, you're in a pretty good spot, right? But yeah, the Addison stuff I think is still fair. Still fair. A lot of Jackson Smith and Jigba love here. I think I agree with you guys, right? That target share is completely insane, and I almost said insane. Good God. Rashid Shaheed is, I think, just like the perfect fit for this offense. He already has a lot of experience in this type of offense as well with the coordinator and his history there. I don't think that's going to affect JSN's volume too much. If anything, I think it opens some things up a little bit. Arizona has been just decimated by injuries in their secondary. So I do think that JSN, if I had to pick one of these, makes a lot of sense. But I do kind of think that Justin Jefferson is undervalued today a little bit. I don't think many people are on him. He's tough to get in, but from a leverage perspective, I think he's one of those guys that I would like to prioritize getting in. I think of all these guys, he's going to come at like half the ownership. I think it'll actually be relatively spread out. Some people have been talking, I've heard a lot of smart people talking about stacking up this Detroit side of Detroit at Washington. So I think that's somewhat interesting too. Puka Nacua obviously is an amazing play at 8,700. Wouldn't fault anyone for going that direction. But I think for the high price guys, for me, it probably is JSN today. So I'm with you guys on that. The more interesting poll is this next tier of wide receivers. I'm pumped that the polls are working, by the way. That was not fun yet last week. Top non-elite wide receiver play, because I think there is some decent options here. Juwan Jennings, Tez Johnson, Emeka Egbuka, Zay Flowers, De'Ami Brown, Wan'Dale Robinson, Stephon Diggs, or other. A lot of options for you guys here today. So if you're just trickling in here at quarterback, I think if you're paying up, it probably in a vacuum is Josh Allen. I think Lamar is a little bit easier to stack, but both of those guys are fantastic plays. I personally, like once you start getting into roster construction, I think it's easier to build around Marcus Mariota, Mac Jones, JJ McCarthy, like the cheaper guys. I think Mariota of that group, probably my favorite, but JJ McCarthy is probably my favorite game environment of those three to attack. Mac Jones, very easy just to stack him with Jennings and with CMC. So the stacking ability of Mac Jones probably puts him right there, maybe slightly ahead, depending on what type of roster you're trying to build, what type of tournament you're playing in. Running back, I think CMC is my number one, Devon Achane number two. Probably no surprise there. Rico Dowdle is a phenomenal play at this price. I also think that there are paths to this team just completely failing, basically. So there are some rosters where I'm going to be getting away from Rico. Travion Henderson's probably the guy in that range that makes the most sense as well. But I really like the idea of the Derrick Henry and the Kyron Williams leverage plays at running back, basically the same price. Any interest in Stafford? I like Stafford. He just has to throw 4 touchdowns to get there because he gets nothing on the ground from him. That's the problem, right? And where the price is at, you really need him to go completely crazy. He might get there. And it's an easy stack, right? These Rams could have like, I mean, this 49ers defense is also decimated by injuries, right? So the Rams could go nuts today. I would not be shocked. Like in terms of team total today, like we got Buffalo up there, Detroit up there, but LA is like right below that top tier, right? So you're going to get some really nice ownership probably on Stafford plus the weapons. So I don't hate it. It's just a tough price. 6,500 for him. I think I'm just paying another 300 for Lamar every time, personally. Wan'Dale Robinson getting some love here. Okay, interesting. I didn't think there'd be that many people on Wan'Dale. So Wan'Dale has an amazing matchup. So the Bears are one of the worst teams in the league at defending the slot. They've also given up a league high touchdown rate to the slot as well. Wan'Dale Robinson was like my long shot touchdown bet this week. So damn, I'm surprised that you guys are on him. I don't think that there's a lot of people that are gonna go there personally. I think he'll be like sub 10%. He's our number one wide receiver play today. Interesting. Does the Chicago weather scare anybody? I'm gonna take another look just to make sure it's nothing crazy. It was like we're looking at like 20-mile-per-hour winds, right? Which is not ideal. Anything over 15, we're looking at. Rain also not good. Winds still looking around, 20-mile-per-hour gusts to 30. So that matters for sure. I don't think there's going to be a ton of rain during the game is what we're seeing, though. So it might not be catastrophic. It's one of those situations, though, where both defenses are so bad. I want to like that game. I want to like it, but it's tougher. I'm actually in shock that you guys have Wan'Dale so high. We're going to have to play him. Egbuka, like right below that top tier of pricing, right? He has been a little bit banged up. Hopefully he's healthy coming out of the bye. No Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin, 30% target share without those guys. Basically, still one of the top wide receiver ones in the entire league, in my opinion. In a matchup that's interesting because if we end up seeing Gonzalez shadow him, we didn't see him shadow London last week, and he scored 3 touchdowns. So we'll see if they end up playing Egbuka a little bit tighter there. It's not a great spot if they do shadow him, obviously, but at 7K, he's still a great play. Juwan Jennings at 4,600 is still the one for me that seems like one of the best salary saving options on DraftKings in particular, though, right? So there's really not a lot of competition there outside of CMC. He has 3 games in a row with a 20% target share. So at 4,600, that's just a price that doesn't exist for that type of volume typically. Um, so I do think that Jennings with Mac Jones with CMC going to be pretty popular, but for a good reason today in tournaments. Let's talk about tight end, and then we'll build a lineup, spend a little more time on that. So tight end today, we have some options, right? We can pay up for George Kittle, Trey McBride, Sam Laporta, or we can play Hunter Henry. What do you guys think? Top tight end play today, price considered. Where are we at? The bots are following and spamming. That used to really help. Did you guys hear that? My dog just scratched at the door. I'm like somewhat nervous. She's had like some stomach issues. I have two Great Danes. So she had a little bit of diarrhea yesterday, not great. So that's kind of scary. Why is she scratching on the door? Is that a cry for help? Like, get me outside immediately? I hope not. I might be in for a crazy mess before the boys get here. We'll see. Derek likes Henry today. Nice. Dalton Schultz. I don't hate the Dalton Schultz play. We'll see with Mills in there what happens. They're going to get pressured a ton. Jacksonville will bring pressure. Yeah. Jennings or Kittle with Jones. Kittle's going to give you a little bit more leverage, probably. I still think there's a Kittle explosion game coming. Actually, Kittle's still at like 15%. This is relatively spread out at tight end today, but 4,500 for him feels like a great price, no? But if we're paying down, I think it's still Hunter Henry, right? With Kayshon Boutte not there, maybe a few more targets. He's still obviously a really strong red zone role. All of that. I think they're going to be able to move the ball pretty well. So the Hunter Henry stuff makes sense. Trey McBride with Jacoby Brissett just turned into a touchdown machine somehow. So we love to see that. Vincent, what's up, my man? Tep playing helps Rico. Agreed. Yeah, it's like it's a revolving door with these Danes. They always have stomach issues. It's such a bummer. They're on like a special diet, the whole deal. Like our vet knows them by like first name. We're there so much for like a million different things. Just feel bad. She's on the chicken and rice diet, trying to slow that diarrhea down for a little bit. Hunter Henry. Sam Laporta is interesting because that's kind of the exact area that you would, in theory, attack this defense. High total. We want high totals for these guys, right? It's really important. Yep. All right, let's close this out. My favorite poll of every single week is pretty obvious, right? It's the stack poll. This is the poll where whatever wins this, that's the lineup that we're going to build today on DraftKings. Favorite game stack today. We got Buffalo at Miami. We got the total on here as well. That's a 50-point total. Detroit at Washington, LA at San Francisco, Baltimore at Mini, New England at Tampa Bay, Giants at Bears, Cardinals at Seahawks. What do we like today? If we're gonna game stack one game, what is it? And this is the roster that we're gonna put real American dollars behind today. So this is serious stuff. We didn't talk too much about the offensive line, defensive line stuff. I do think that really matters from like an efficiency standpoint. So that's like one of my main concerns for Mac Jones is this Rams defensive line is elite. And the offensive line has been not as great for the 49ers this year. So I would be a little bit concerned there. We talked about the Texans offensive line, still probably a bottom two offensive line in the entire NFL. And Jacksonville will bring pressure, right? Seattle is also another situation where I think they could get some pressure on this Cardinals O line, so I like that quite a bit. On the other side of it, this Commanders team cannot bring pressure. This Dolphins team cannot bring pressure. So I think Josh Allen and Jared Goff can have all the time in the world back there. I actually think that JJ McCarthy could have a decent amount of time as well. This Baltimore team has also not pressured well all year. We got the Berlin game. I forgot about that. Yep. Baltimore at Minnesota. You guys want to build a Baltimore at Minnesota team? Don't have to ask me twice. Don't have to ask me twice. We got to figure out who we want to lead here at quarterback with, though. These polls are working today, but they're very laggy. All right, so we got Who is our quarterback today? Who is our quarterback? JJ McCarthy or Lamar Jackson? I need you guys to vote for this one. This is very important. Very important. And we'll go ahead and build this lineup. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this one in the other Millie that's going on. They have like a 5-5-5, right? You guys are smarter than like trying to click on these bots, right? In the chat. Please don't click on bots. Lamar or JJ here, friends. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? Bunch of Lamar votes. Fair, fair. Don't hate it. Don't hate it. Both JJs and throw Bateman in there to offset salary. Interesting. Save that money. Chili Will, what's up, my man? Couple new subscribers. Glamour Legacy Trucking. How we doing? Not good, but funny. Who else we got in here new? Welcome in, guys. We do this every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Come hang, position by position, build a lineup at the end, the whole deal. I think that guy voted 3, clicked on the bot. Don't do it. Don't do it. Lamar. Okay, I could do a Lamar team. What's the priority here? If we wanted to throw in like a placeholder defense, that's kind of where I like to start, right? Because then we actually have an idea of where we're at, right? So if we wanted to play, I think Jacksonville at 2,600 is the best play against Mills. Like just the price tag is egregious. So let's throw Jacksonville in there. I think that's a decent starting point. This Houston offensive line, absolutely terrible. And then let's throw Lamar in there. What now, friends? What now? What do we want to do here? I think we want to probably overstack this game, right? If we're playing Lamar, we're probably stacking up a decent amount of this. Andrews, Jefferson run back. I like that idea. I like that idea. I think if we were going to go, yeah, I think that's fair. I'm trying to make sure we have a decent amount of room for these running backs, though, right? So I think we probably have to choose between Achane or CMC on this roster. But let's get Andrews in there. And then I think we probably would want to prioritize Jefferson on this team, right? Wouldn't we? What do you guys think? Henry? I like the Bateman call too. What do you guys think about the Flowers fade with Lamar? What do you guys think about that? Is that crazy? Get Bateman in there. I don't think that's the worst path. I've heard worse ideas, for sure. If we wanted to get Jefferson in there, it's definitely going to limit some of the other things that we could do. We could play Derrick Henry on this team. I think he actually correlates better than people realize. I kind of like the. I think we want to speed up this game, guys. What do we think about this? We can still make this work somehow. We just have to go a different direction, probably. No, the Bateman stuff really opens up a lot, guys. We could still get Achane and Dowdle on this team, I think. Could just overstack it. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah. Fade Flowers. I like the fade. I mean, we're still getting Flowers access here, right? Doesn't score TDs. Fair. You guys are on board with that. Okay, fair enough. I love it. So we still have a decent amount of salary left here, friends. So to me, I think we can still get Achane on this team. Probably can't get CMC, but we can still get Achane. 5,600 the rest of the way. Is there like a one-off, like a wide receiver one-off, like around 5K that we like? Because in theory, we could do this. 4,900 left. This came together like way too easily, though. Is this going to be too popular? We can't get Rashid Shaheed. That would have been kind of a nice little leverage play. Jacoby Myers at 4,800. Jamison Williams, not on the fast track, but that's kind of interesting. Juwan Jennings, we could get him in there at 46. What do you guys think? JMO? Wandale. We did. How much is Wandale again? 53. We can't quite get Wandale. I would have liked that though, because we did. He won our poll, right? Should we make Wandale work somehow? Like, is there a pivot off of Dowdle? We could just play Travion. We could. Max leverage. We could throw Aaron Jones on this team. Where is Aaron Jones? What's the deal with his injury? Because we should probably have more than just Jefferson on the other side, right? Shoulder expected to play, obviously. AC joint. Are you guys worried about Aaron Jones at all? Some decent leverage, though, if we're trying to get into this game in a different way. 5,200 opens up a lot. So let's just see where that gets us. Can't type. That gets us all the way to 6K at that wide receiver slot. So we could play Tet McMillan. We almost can play someone like Chris Olave for max leverage. Can't get to Garrett Wilson, Roma Dunze at 3%. Kyron instead of Achan. We could just go max leverage. Yeah, we could. I kind of like the Henry route, honestly, because I think if he breaks some big plays, that makes some sense. I guess the Aaron Jones thing is what I'm trying to debate between. Is that worth it? Is there like anything in this like 6K range that we're obsessed with, right? That's what we have to ask ourselves. Roma Dunze. Zay Flowers. We could just play Zay Flowers on this team as well. That seems like too much. We could play Diggs. Could play Diggs. Debo, DJ Moore. There's some options here. Kyron instead of Achan. Not feeling Jones. Odunze gonna eat. Odunze off the 0 is enticing to me. Odunze off the 0 is kind of interesting as like a one-off, right? Like, is anyone gonna go back to him? He's 6K. If he's like 3%, that's some nice leverage as a one-off, right? Like we need these one-offs to go completely crazy. We're already fading CMC. We're already fading Dowdle. I kind of like it. Can't go Monungai because we need a wide receiver. Go down at defense, squeeze in Waddle. Is there a way we can go down even more at defense? Like 2,600 is already so cheap. Minnesota, like we don't have a whole lot of options here. Giants defense? We go Giants against Caleb? We could do that. Does that get us to Wandale? No, it only gives us an extra 100. We need like an extra 300 or something, right, for Wandale? So we need to almost like get to like this Vikings, Cardinals, Commanders tier. Yeah, I don't know if we could play Vikings D on this team. I kind of like the Odunze stuff. Am I crazy? That seems like some nice leverage. Odunze feels like we could go Tet McMillan. No one's gonna play Tet. Is that the max leverage play if we're not playing Dowdle? I don't know, guys. What's the path to this roster completely smashing, right? Is CMC does his thing, but he's too expensive to be in the optimal. The Tet McMillan leverage off of Dowdle might have to break the tie from the Odunze 0. I like this. Thoughts? It is a pretty good spot for Tet. They don't pass much, but they also can't defend wide receiver ones. So Tet off of injury, if he's in there, like how healthy do we think he is? I'm tempted because I think that's arguably one of the best leverage plays on the slate. It's tough. There's no better way probably to leverage that game though, and to leverage Dowdle. We're playing the Dowdle failure already with this roster. We could swap Achane to something else, but I love the Achane play today of all of those guys. I don't think I'm going to overthink this one, guys. That's what we're going with. That's what we're doing. The game stack with Minnesota, we got Achane and Tet McMillan one-offs. Jaguars defense. Easy game. Appreciate you guys being with us. Going to go a little bit shorter today. Like I said, got company. I think they're already here or trying to get into the building. And I'm also low-key nervous about the Dane that's like 10 feet from me, directly outside that door with the diarrhea. So going to try and figure that out, make sure they don't ruin all the cleaning that I did yesterday. Appreciate you guys being with us. Week 10. Can't believe we're already in double digits. We'll see you guys next week, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure you guys use code HOLKA live on Prize Picks. Get your free $50. Peace.